Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You're always most welcome. So today, finally we get to the rather nice looking ICM made in the Ukraine. It's the 1/48 scale He111 H. This is the H-8, the Paravane. Now, this is rather an interesting plane. I don't think too many of these were actually seen. We'll get into the proper detail in a minute, but as I understand it, this was, as the artwork suggests, this was there to try and fly into the wires and ropes that were suspending barrage balloons over places like London and other cities, especially early in the war. I understand it wasn't terribly successful. I'll say there'll be more detail, I'm sure, but I don't think it was very successful. And pilots reported it was nightmarish to fly. That the blade system across the front of the aircraft completely screwed up the aerodynamics. It made it very hard to land because it affected its sort of pitch and its centre of lift. Not a good invention, but a very interesting subject for us to have a look at. So, what have we got? So it's 48 scales, I say. Our friends in ICM have sent this to me for review. This one will be getting auctioned off when I've finished and done the review. Still sealed. This is the first time it's ever been opened, obviously. Hence why I wear the gloves, which some newcomers keep asking why you're wearing gloves, because we don't want to get my hands all over it. So, as I mentioned, it will get auctioned off, and all proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, will go to Ukraine charities, either on eBay, or if somebody just wants to say, look, I'll give you 90% of the normal price, 85-90% I would accept. And that money will all go off to the Ukraine charities, and I'll every so often in the future, once I've got this going, I'll be showing you, the latest sort of email proof of donations, etc. So that's the plan. Let's have a look at this interesting plane then. Let's see what they actually make of it here. Here we go. In July 1940, in the height of the Battle of Britain, this was the name given to the German military operation. There's a problem, sorry here. Okay, ICM, you better listen up on this one. In July 1940, the Battle of Britain began. This was the name given to the German military operation aimed at conquering the airspace over southern England. Well, it was a name we gave to it afterwards. The actual name was really Operation Sea Lion, the invasion of Britain. And this was the prelude, the first step of Operation Sea Lion. And then we called it the Battle of Britain later. According to the German command, this was to undermine the morale of the British people by bombing their cities. But to protect the airspace over large cities, the British used large barrage balloons with very taut cables. To break through these barriers, the Luftwaffe used converted airplanes on which steel structures with cutters were installed. Sounds dangerous, doesn't it? These cutters were also called paravanes. Paravanes with no E on the end, okay. Similar devices to protecting against sea mines. Amongst the converted aircraft were He111 bombers. This modification was designated the He111 H-8. Piloting such aircraft was quite difficult, however. Here we go, told you. As the massive structure of the Paravane worsened the flight characteristics of the aircraft. Well, it was heavy, I imagine. It must have put the centre of gravity right at the front, and it must have been a nightmare on takeoff and landing. Some of these aircraft were lost during 1941, and the remainder ones were later used back as conventional bombers. Whether they took the actual apparatus off, it doesn't make it clear, but I suspect they probably did, because they were not a good flight characteristics. Not designed by Adrian Newey or any other, or Barnes Wallis. No, nothing like that. Not an aerodynamic genius that designed that design. Anyway, let's go and get into here. That's a tight one. Very tight. I think I might need my other glasses on. I've got my general glasses on, and I think I'm due for an eye test soon. I'm starting to feel a little bit struggling with these glasses, to be honest. When I get as close as I am now, it's no good at all. Right, let's have a look at what ICM produced. Kit number is 4827. Can I get in? Is the first question. I've got all the tape. I'm sure I have. I think so, yeah. Now, as you know, it's always a box within a box, and ICM do this thing where Very tight fit, very well packed. It's not a criticism at all. Really well packed. Well, not too bad, it's sensible. There we go. So, quite a big box this time, quite a big box. Yeah, okay. So we've got one bag with lots of screws in and another bag with lots of screws in. These are two bags. And then we've got usual sort of paint guide talk and our instructions, and it recommends paint set number 3014 ICM paint set. Doesn't say what they call that one. Anyway, so this is going to be tricky. I'm going to have to move the box, it's just too big, I'm afraid. So we'll have that off the side over there. Big sprues here. This is big kit, this one. This is a bit of a monster. So do that. So, any more information? No, same information as on the box. We've got our decals. Let's have a look at those straight away. Two sets of decals here. Oh, I see we've got a duplicate set. Ooh, that's always good, isn't it? I've got two sets that are the same. Yes, indeed, they are identical. So we'll just put one away. That's a mistake in our favour. It's like the old Monopoly game, isn't it? Bank error in your favour. Let's have a look at these. Those are nice, aren't they? They've got these low, like a night fighter version, low vis version and conventional version. Those are nice, aren't they? Cleverly, ICM, instead of doing what Airfix do, which gets me ranting of course, they don't show the German swastika, but you can build it up. They provide the actual components, just two components to build up your swastika to make it realistic, avoiding any offence to anybody. I don't, you know my views on this, I don't really agree with all that, but I think it's unnecessary, but there we go. A clever solution. There's no reason why Airfix can't do this. I still cannot get my head around what problem they've got with doing the same as what's done here. That is the sensible way around the problem, if there is one. So, those are beautiful. They seem very thin decals, and there's very, very little excess transfer film, carrier film I should say. That looks really shiny. In fact, the carrier film is almost non-existent. Look how close to the edge the carrier film is here. Have a close look. I'll bring you in a bit closer. Now have a look at this. Look at that. So the lights on it. Look at the lack of transfer film. Excess. It's fantastic. That's really good, isn't it? It doesn't say where it's made this time. Or does it? Or does it? Printed in where? Gosh, this is the smallest writing in the world. No, it doesn't say printed in anywhere. It's just another decal. One of the stencils. Sorry, I thought at the top right there, just next to the number, I thought it said printed in such and such. Anyway, beautiful decals, and we get two sets for some reason, so thanks for that. In fact, got to be honest, I might keep a set of those for myself, just as a reference point. And, just as a reference point, but if anybody wants them both, they'll have to pay full price. Not for me, for Ukraine, remember. So, here we go. Let's have a look then. So obviously there's going to be multiple variants. It's from their He111 series. So there's going to be quite a few of these sprue map parts that are not going to be used. So you can see there's several that you admit. Wings and tails. Obviously they must have different props and things on other versions, and perhaps different windows, is that? Yeah, some of the clear parts, obviously with certain, the gun bay underneath, that's different. Yeah, as you would expect really. So, you start off by building up the sort of centre section here. The centre section, which is like a box section, and then you're going to put your two spars, forward and rear spar, either side of it. Again, we've got this rather faint, but it's not as faint as it was in that car we did recently, was it? That was very, very faint. I couldn't even see it really, it was that faint. Almost like it faded. So you've got the centre section and you've got the spars, and very cleverly you've got these basically like a box section for the nacelles for the engines. Sorry, for the gear bays, left and right. This is quite a good idea, isn't it? It looks like a very strong sort of unitary construction here in boxes. Then you've got a support ring for, I think it's where the top gunner goes. Bringing in the rear bulkhead here and the lower floor. Then we have got various parts building up the cockpit for the pilot's seat and the navigator. Pilot seat going in there, going onto that front bulkhead, spar system, which looks very strong and very well thought out. And then you've got all the supports there with the actuating rods and things for the rudder pedals. And you've got one of your gear legs going in. There's a little fillet here that goes on the inside of the fuselage interior. What looks like the gun belt, ammunition gun belts, like cartridges, drums. And you've got your lower windows going in here. Look at that, multiple drums there. Look at that, I'm going to zoom in for this. Zoom. Look at that, multiple drum belt feeds for the machine guns. Look at that. That must just be the storage area where they actually store them. I don't think. Yeah, they don't. That's how it goes onto the gun there. Look. One at a time, chaps. One at a time. That's obviously the storage rack. So that goes in on the side, and then you're building up your tail wheel here, and then you've got this other side. You're going to repeat the side windows here. Sorry, I said it was the floor windows. It's actually that one is actually the cockpit. The fuselage side, and then again on this side, the opposite side. And you've got the gondola section in the belly, which has these windows in it, of course, which also has a gunner's position normally. And then you've got the side gunner here, so you've got one of the machine guns at the side poking out the window there. Then you bring in all this together, this assembly with the spars into the fuselage side, and then bringing across, of course, then bringing across the opposite fuselage side there. Then we're going to build in. This is the navigator's rather rudimentary chair that goes into the cockpit. Then you've got your tail. Sorry, I'm going to have to move this plastic because it's really in the way. That's better. Then you've got your sort of tail cone at the back end beyond the tail, and you've got your rudders going in here. And you've got an option, depending on which version it is, to cut the tail cone off and replace it with another piece here. So I think you've got an option because there's a question mark. Rudder goes on, and the rudder actuators at the side, and again on the other side. Then you've got your bomb bay going in down here, complete with the bomb bay doors there and there. And then you've got your, zoom out ever so slightly for this, and you've got your top turret here, gun turret, and it's got a separate section so you can avoid any horrible seam there for that top section. And then you've got, if you want the closed bomb bay option, you've got your closed doors in there. Then you've got your elevators at the back. Elevators, sorry, I'm right. Elevators at the right, and the horizontal stabiliser. And then we're getting some drilling. There's quite a bit of drilling here by the look of it. Several holes you've got to drill, 1mm, and it's telling you to measure it very carefully. You can use it as a template, so you can cut this out and use it as a template to get the holes drilled. I think it's where are they the slats? I think they're slats, aren't they, that you're going to put in. And then on the next page you're putting the actual wings are going on. Is that lower wing and top wing, or is it both? I think it's just the lower wing. Then you're putting your tail planes in here. And then we've got the Daimler-Benz engines, aren't they? Daimler-Benz engines going in here, into their bearers. And you've got all your superchargers there, feeder pipes, cooling pipes, and the main engine bearers, support bearers there. radiators going in there. Intakes and 8 radiators. Then you've got not quite sure what that part is. Part of the cooling system. Sorry, part of the cooling system going in there, complete with all the various cooling pipes. And then there's a decal to go in here. You've got the main bearers. One side goes and gets fixed into the nacelles there. More radiators going in here. And then you've got the flaps for the radiators going in there. Then you've got your sort of coving around the engines on the front nacelle to go in here. Ailerons, nice to see these control surfaces. Ailerons going in there. More holes to be drilled. Doesn't quite explain what they're for. That could have been improved on, I think, with just a little bit of exposition explaining what's happening here. Yes, we can see you've got a drill hole, but it doesn't say why. So I'm a little confused about that, to be honest. And then there's more of it over here. An explanation would be quite handy. Little bit of just a couple of parts there around the rear tail wheel. Then you've got your lower cowling covers here, cowlings that go over the engines. And then here you've got the front of the engine coming in that covers the cooling jackets, and then you've got the final cover there, lower cowling going on, and then the exhaust. Is it exhaust? Yeah, the exhaust stubs going in here, and then you've got the final exhaust and the final side cowlings going in. Final assembly of those. And then you get down to your glasshouse cockpit, complete with machine gun poking out at the top. And you've got like a top and bottom, that could be tricky. Top and bottom join there. Make sure you use your extra clear PVA glue for that one, I think, folks. And then that goes on here. Another machine gun, bristles with machine guns, doesn't it? So it's got a machine gun pointing up, you've got a machine gun, it's actually pointing down, I beg your pardon. It's one pointing down in the nose, as well as the one I just mentioned. One up and one down. Interesting. So you've got a downward pointing one and upward pointing one. So you've got 2 guns in the nose. Covers all options. Then you've got the gondola gun here, which is there. And then you're getting into your tyres, building up your gondola, putting your main gear together, your wheels and tyres, and the support legs for your undercarriage. And the retraction gear there, and then you've got the actuators, and then get into the bombs. Doesn't say what sort of bomb it is. I think they're about £1,000, aren't they? No, they're 500, weren't they? I think the Germans, thereabouts. That's probably what they call it. What was that, 200 kilos? Was it something like that? And they go on. Well, actually, you've got the option here to put them on. They actually, interesting. They actually fit on sway braces that go on like a pylon underneath. So that's almost like an additional bomb load, isn't it? External bombs as well as the internal ones. Then you've got your propeller and spinner and back plate going in here. The final detail, 2 options on the coving, the clear glass canopy over the top of the mid gunner, and the gun itself going in there. Then you pop in on your propellers and spinners there. And now we get to the Paravane part at the end. With this very... Okay, that's what the holes were for, sorry. That's what the holes were for. It was the Paravane fixing holes for all the gubbins, the support arms that are going to hold this cutter. What a bizarre thing. I mean, there must have been a heck of an impact when they flew this into a barrage cable. I don't think you'd want to be on it. Can you imagine the bits of metal flying around? Good grief. So that just goes in there, and then you've got your cutter that goes on finally on the front, and that's what it looks like. Look at that. Just come back a bit. Just look at that. What a bizarre setup. And as I said, it was reported that it really messed up the aero, and I think it affected the flaps efficiency and all sorts of problems from what I've read. Anyway, we've got here Paravane of an unknown unit in 1941. There we are. Nice colours, very nice colour call out as well. And then we've got the Bulker Bilka unit in France, which I think is also 41. And a bizarre setup, isn't it? I don't think I'll be volunteering to be the pilot in this unit. And then there's the Grief unit in France in the spring of 41. So basically when the Battle of Britain was called off and the Blitz came to an end, they became, well, fairly useless really, I suppose. They no longer had a purpose anymore. So yeah, very nice instructions, just a little bit faint again in places, not as bad as the car, but and a little bit more detail explaining what those holes are for. If it said drill holes for Paravane apparatus, that's all we needed to say really. That would have been a bit clearer. It gives it a context. But there we go. So, time to look at the plastic. Lots of it, lots of it. I think this is going to be a nice one. For sure, for sure. Right. Move that one over there. Out of the way, you put the light back on. What have we got? This one has got the clear parts in 2 separate additional bags. So I think we'll save them till the end. So we'll start off with the wings. It's quite a big sprue. I seem to have lost my remote control. Now that's a humongous big sprue. But look at the detail. Oh, this is nicely done. Some very, very nice detailing here. Look at the rivets and the panel lines here. Maybe if we can have some focus camera, that would be cool. Sorry about that. Camera's having one of its off days, I think. So look at that. Very, very fine, refined surface detail. They are engraved like rivets. You've got the flaps don't actually they're not separate, are they, the flaps, but the ailerons are. And then over on this side you've got the same with the other wing. That is a beautiful, lovely quality finish. I think you can feel with their plastic, it always feels like it's going to take paint really well. It feels very receptive somehow to paint. Over here you've got your horizontal stabiliser, and same on this side, top and bottom. That's a nice sprue. So what I'll do is I'll put that back in the bag. I'll hold the bag open for us, he says. That's the theory, folks. What really happens is probably going to be completely different. Right, now then, second sprue. I think there might be... No, I'm going to say there might be 2 of these. And this is the Paravane apparatus, this basically girder-like support structure for the Paravane cutter. And the cutter itself is the piece right on the front here. Doesn't feel terribly sharp, probably a good thing. But that is it. That is the cutting setup itself. That's a sprue just for Paravane. What a bizarre thing it really is. Very strange, isn't it, to my eye? And this is the one you drill the holes for, you know, to sort of give you some locating holes to get perches on. You see there's a little plug that plugs into the hole. Yes, so that's fine, okay. That's the interesting part. It's non-standard on the kit. Then we have got all this fine detail with you've got your undercarriage. So let's just move the Ukraine thing a second. Whoa! Okay. So we've got the undercarriage legs here, complete with, you can see it's got like shockers built into the legs. Yeah. And then we've got quite a lot of small parts, including those rings that go around the engine, cooling rings, cooling jacket. Some of this is also, sorry, that's not the cooling jacket, beg your pardon. This is that ring structure for the top turret, the gun ring, I think, basically. And you've got things like oxygen masks, lots of little pipes and wires. There's lots of little parts, aren't there, to be honest. Then, so then we're on to the clear parts. And here we have got lucky. Look at that. Now that, ooh, these are nice clear parts. Yes, I like these. I think these are the nicest ones I've seen yet from ICM. Those are beautiful. Very nicely formed. Very clear, very bright, very sharp looking. That's the gondola gun underneath. I think that's the forward and that's the rear version. It fires front and back. So lots of guns bristle from this aircraft. It's easy to take them not that seriously, but they were quite well armed. But they had guns, just a single gun, that was the problem, pointing in all different directions, which is, the chances are you're going to get attacked from one particular direction, and perhaps only one or two of your guns can actually be involved. So yeah, I think they might have been better having heavier armament, concentrated front and rear, really. However, you know, if you're going to cover your if you're going to cover your aircraft, your bomber in guns, have it breasted with guns, then you'd better do it properly, like a Flying Fortress, yeah, or even Lancaster, and have lots of big heavy caliber 50 cal guns all over it, not little pea shooters. Like, relatively speaking, these were, you know, a single barrel gun fighting at a Spitfire that's got 8 303s coming at you. Not a very good deal, is it really? Right, now here's the glass house. Oh, again, this is nice. Very nice. Oh wow. That's impressive. Look at the clarity here. Look at the way that they've got the finish on the areas that you'll mask off and paint, of course, some of these. A lot of masking required. Didn't really know if they didn't include a mask. I don't think they had a template, did they either? So you just need a mask set. But here's the nose cannon or gun position. There's two options. And then you've got your windows, which are, yeah, a little bit of distortion in this one. I don't know if you can see that. Oops. Just a small bit of distortion in that one. But by and large, they are excellent. The glass looks really nice. That's for the top turret, aero fairing. You've got your smaller windows that are down in the floor. Very nice, clear parts. That I like that. And you got your instruments as well there. Instrumentation. Oops. Yes. Very nice, clear parts indeed. So, two lots of clear parts that are separate. Zoom you back. Sorry about this. Let's bring you back. Must make a note to self not to leave you staring at the green mat. Not good. Okay, so clear parts is a sort of 9.5, 9.7 out of 10. They're very nice, those are. Let's just pop this back. I need to just manoeuvre this away to give me the space I need. So please just bear with me for a second. Pop that in there. At least they seem to be a bit more generous with the bag this time, which is good. Sometimes they don't, ICM don't always give us a big enough bag really. Well, just big enough, but makes it quite hard to reseal it. Not this time, it's fine. Right, that's very nice. Excellent parts there. Very impressed so far, very impressed. Let's see the real meat and potatoes of the fuselage now. So, we've got one sprue here that's a duplicate, so I'll actually pop that straight back in so we don't have two. Okay, and it is, we've got a part off the sprue there, which one has that emigrated from? Not too sure. Not too sure where that's come from. Looks like it's the fairing. Part nicely moulded, very nice. Looks like it's the fairing from the gondola underneath to me. It's probably the rear part of it. Nice. A nice piece. So, won't worry about that for the time being. So what have we got? We've got our propellers. Move this a little bit. Let's get you in closer. Nice propellers. Very nice. Then you've got your engine bearers there. You've got your bombs. 250 kilo bombs, I think those are. You've got your tyres. Nicely moulded, these. Yes, they're a bit nicer than those rubber tyres in the car that we saw recently. And then we got the more bombs here. You've got your actuator system for your gear retraction. You've got here supercharger, piping for the engine, and then you've got many machine guns. We can get them in focus, that'd be cool. There we go, many machine guns. There, and there. Very nice. Got your engine here, Daimler-Benz engine. You've got your front aero cover with the cooling holes in it, of course, to let them onto the cooling jackets, which are there. Water cooling jackets. You've got your, it's a V12, isn't it, this engine? So you can see there you've got, well, if it gets focused we can see it. What's going on? Come on. What's your problem? Come on. There we go. Yeah, there's the V12, the V of the V12 engine. What else have we not covered? Got spinner over here. Spinner. There's the back plate to the spinner and the radiator. And various internal parts and what have you, really. Fairing there for the engine, lower engine. That's very nice. Put that back away. Okay. Then we have got all the sort of business end of the plane in terms of the spar and the support. So you've got this double spar system, which I mentioned, and looks very boxy and strong when it's constructed. So yeah, somebody told me about the He111 and the other version, the first version I think, and said how nicely it goes together, and it's very boxy and very sturdy. Good design, you know. And then over here we've got our top coving on the fuselage where the top gun turret is, and we have our tail wheel, and then you've got the various parts of the cowlings where the red dust shows where the exhausts come out there, and you've got your fuselage cockpit floor. Very nice indeed. In there, scratch anything. And then got parts here that are duplicated. Still on the spot of where that. Oh, is that the part? I'm not sure. Not sure where my rogue part came from, which sprue it came off. Actually, not that obvious. Yeah, we're going to pop that in there. So. Here we've got, this is the two versions of the bomb doors, the closed bomb doors. One has got no holes ready for the sway braces there, and this one has got the holes for the sway braces for carrying two external bombs. There's your tail cone. Yeah, very nice parts indeed. That's your leg for your, I think that's the tail wheel leg, isn't it? So that's very nice. Then we have got, we have two of these duplicated sprue. So here's the alternate propeller, complete with bomb, also alternate spinner. Can't remember from memory which one is which. I've got a feeling it's the other one you use on this kit. But we shall see. And then you've got this rather nice, again slightly different design of tyres, which have got this very distinctive tread on them. Very nice. Very ridged as well. It's very raised ridging on the rubber, which is realistic, you know. And then you get your exhausts down here. So that is that. And that only leaves us with, let's get to it, just leaves us with this big huge fuselage sprue. And you can see the classic, quite graceful looking aircraft, the 111, wasn't it? Quite an aerodynamic looking plane. And this is what I was saying, I think that part goes in here, the missing part, I think it goes there. Part of the gondola arrangement, but it's got beautiful detail. Let's get in close on this. Look at that. That is very, very nice. Great panel lining. Rivets, fantastic. The rivets here. That's gorgeous. Very, very nice. And then you've got your, again, you're down to your Bombay doors with different styles. You can have the Bombay door open or closed, of course. But there's some beautiful finishing there, and that tail's nice, isn't it? All the rivets. Very of its time, wasn't it? Lots of glass in this aircraft and lots of rivets. Fantastic. What a nice kit. And then there you've got the, what looks like the radio gear. Yep, the radio gear. And yeah, you just need to put it all together. Well, yeah. So, what do we think then? It's nice, isn't it? It's a nice kit, that one. Very, very nice. I can actually get that to go in there. That way. Getting anything scratched. It's a bit of a challenge, usually. Bit of a challenge. Right, well there we go. Very nice kit indeed, I would say that one is. As expected, really. Oh, I forgot my one part, this rogue. Let's get in there. So what do you think? What do you think? Any problems with it? Well, I said there's instructions where it's asking you to drill a load of holes, but it doesn't exactly say why. That could have been, I think, a little bit of explanation was needed there. Not a major problem, let's be honest, the wider scheme of things. But just a bit confusing, to be honest. There we go. I think this one comes with 2 sets of decals. So, if somebody wants to, just be careful with those decals. If somebody wants to help support Ukraine and pay the full RRP for this, which I might have to check, I have a feeling it's about 68 quid. Let me just check this. Bear with me, I'm going to have to check that to make it meaningful. And that will also qualify what I think of the actual kit in terms of value, you know. So hold on one second, let's have a look, and I will give you an idea what the going price in the UK is anyway. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's about £60, thereabouts. So, yes, again, £60 doesn't seem a lot for such a big kit. You know, if that was made by Tamiya, that would be £100, wouldn't it? No problem. And others, you know, Border it'd be about £90, I would imagine. So there's a lot of model left, £60. There's a lot of model left, £60. You know, we've got Buccaneer from Airfix, it's £73. So think of it like that. It's pretty good. Sea Harrier from Kinetic, 75, 70, at least 10, £15 more. Well, less said about that the better. So I'm going to give this 9.5 out of 10 because apart from these little quibbles about, yeah, there was one piece of glass that was a little bit distortion, tiny. Most of the glasswork in there is gorgeous, frankly. To be moulded into those complex shapes and to be so clear and crystal-like is very, it's candy for your eyes, I think. So I think 9.5 out of 10 is very reasonable. You know, whoever it came from, it wouldn't matter if it's ICM or somebody else. It's a really beautiful kit. Well done ICM, very nice Heinkel 111. So £60. So let's say £55. If anybody wants to offer me £55 for this, all the £55 will go to Ukraine charities, and I will prove that in due course. Let me know. It would save me messing about with eBay. I'm thinking that eBay is going to be a lot of work for me and a bit of a pain. So if you'd like that kit, as you know, it's not been touching my hands at all, just the fresh gloves. And I think you'd enjoy that. And yeah, I'll let you have the 2 sets of instructions, you know. £55, you can have the 2 sets of instructions. And then we can raise a few quid for Ukraine charities. Help some of the civilian people there that need it, you know, we know that. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it interesting. I did. I enjoyed that. That's a beautiful. That's the nicest He111 kit I've ever seen. No contest, frankly. You know, I can think of the other manufacturer. No, no, that's in a new league for He111s, I think. So there we go. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Our friends in Kiev ICM are going to be sending me some more of these. We've got several new products coming out on an almost rolling basis throughout the year. So we'll be having some more interesting kits very soon, I'm sure. Hope you enjoyed looking at this one. And as I say, if you're interested in it, let me know. And if we end up with people like 3 or 4 people all wanting it, I'll literally draw your names out of a hat, and I promise I'll do it completely, utterly fairly. I'll just put them in a bowl and just put the names in and draw out the first one and let you know. So, complete fairness, you know, I don't know, favour anybody over another. Unless you wanted to bid more money for it. If you want to bid £60, that would put you in pole position, hint hint. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a monthly thing, perhaps a review every month where I tell you how much was raised. That'd be quite cool, wouldn't it, really? Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to ICM for providing the kit, which is very generous of them, especially under the circumstances. And I hope you'll tune in again soon for the next show. Won't be very long. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching. Please take care of yourselves. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.